Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
What's up, guys?
What were you looking at?
Don't
You're like
ask. Like
sideways and
periodically, like when I'm like getting myself into the motion to get started, it's like I don't know. Just I start laughing at myself, and then I just try to look away because I know it becomes contagious. And then I looked at Oak, and he's laughing. I was like, "Yep, well, too late."
well, because it was like this. Because the rest of us, your head is turned sideways and you're staring at a screen.
It's
And
because
then
I'm looking
you
at the
hear-
timer, so that I
Right,
can
and then
start
you're
it on a
like,
decent time.
and you know, welcome to Infinite Respawn, and you're just still staring right here, and you start laughing, and I was like, are you watching something? Like, what is happening?
It's because I was trying to keep a straight face to do it, but then I broke. I was like, all right, oh well.
So that's what the show is going to be like today. Okay, then. Now I know where we're going.
That adds some realism to it. We're
Realism.
just people here. We're not professionals.
No, that's
people.
100% true. We are not professionals. This at all.
That's why people like us, is because we're just people.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure they're listening to it right now. They're like, God, these people are so dumb. Yes,
Infinite
we are.
Respawn are people too.
Exactly.
I'm like, why am I still listening to this even? Like, oh no.
No, keep listening though. Don't listen to what she just said. Just like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get that
don't
that's
listen
what's
to her.
going on in your head. But keep listening.
Oh man. Well then, so this is how it's gonna go. What games have everybody been playing this week?
I've played 2 games.
Oh my
And
god,
2
you
games
guys are
only.
such slackers. I've played
Oh,
one
don't
game.
worry.
But it was
I
a
got
long
some.
time.
I've been spending
I
time
know,
with like
it's
real
too-
life things
too
happening.
weird.
It's been crazy. I didn't even know there was a real life out there.
Surprise.
That's what's so funny.
Right. I've been playing real life.
Ugh.
The
That game is terrible. The progression system sucks, and there's so much lag.
Graphics are okay though.
Yeah, graphics are okay.
I don't like the healing system on it either.
Yeah.
It's very slow.
Now I played a little bit of Sea of Thieves. I know, surprise.
I'm so shocked.
Never
So-
heard of that game.
I know. So a friend of mine, Timmy, that normally plays Call of Duty or Apex with me, he and I got on a sloop, and I had found out there was a new, not necessarily a new mechanic, but kind of a way to kind of exploit the system that they've set up with the new Jack Sparrow stuff going
Oh,
on.
Great.
But
Of
it
course
came
there's
to
an
our
exploit.
advantage, because let me tell you what I hate about what they've done, and then explain to you how I use it to my advantage. So one of the things that they do is, because they're putting you in an instance, you don't go back to the same server you left.
Okay.
So when you come out of it, you don't see the same server you left. But if you have an emissary up, and it does not matter the emissary, so it can be a Reaper, it could be a Gold Hoarder, it could be Merchant, whatever. If you put down one of the Jack Sparrow instance ones and go through the little portal, your emissary is still active. So when you come out, you go into a different server with a full with your emissary.
Ooh.
So if you've already bumped it up in one level, so we'll say a Reaper's already reaped all they can do on that, they don't have to go and turn everything in and then hop to another server. They can literally go through and still stay at a level 5 and turn all the shit in. That's what I hate. That needs to be changed.
Yeah.
But if you're running from Reapers, because you get on, in our case, a server and you're a sloop, and there are 3 Reapers on one server.
Why did you even
you
decide
like-
to play that? Server swap immediately.
Okay, well, here's the thing is I loaded up all the stuff. Then I went over to the map and looked
Always
at
check
it
the
and
map
went, "Oh."
first.
And then I looked at it and I said, oh, okay. So then I started the Jack Sparrow thing, went through the deal, came out. And when I came out, I had 1 Reaper that was on there, and I was like, I don't want to deal with the Reapers. Cool. So I went over, went to an outpost. Actually, same one I left, technically, just different server. Went to the same outpost. Now all of my stuff is loaded up again in all the barrels, so I just load all that shit up in the barrels and load up my ship even more. And then I pop the thing again and then go through and come out, and there's no Reapers. So that's what I ended up doing. So that's how I got around it. But we did end up going through the second storyline again, and I got to see a lot more of it than I did last time, because last time we had 2 guys that helped us out, but they were 2 guys that were part of their own ship that were going through at the same time, which is kind of annoying, because everybody's trying to figure out at the same time what to do, and so you can't just kind of sit in awe of what was created and the level and go through. And so yeah, but I was able to this time. Enjoyed the hell out of it. Timmy really enjoyed it. He was like, man, the combat's really great on this. I was really enjoying this. And so we had a good time with it. And then stupid me, there are literally in that part of it, there are statues everywhere for you to be able to click on and return to your ship.
And you didn't click on a damn one, did you?
I go outside and swim all the way to the top of the fucking surface because I'm at the bottom of the ocean. And it's a long way. I didn't drown by any means, but I was thinking, this is taking forever. Why? Why are you taking forever? So we finished that one. That was fun. And then I've been playing, a friend of mine bought it for me a couple years ago when it came out, and I've just not played it. Battlefield 5, which is the one that's based in World War II that everybody was talking about, the Battlefield V, if you will, for the peace, right? It's different. Like they set it up the same way they did the World War one, which storylines are really good, but they separated between storylines with people, like in what they're doing, and some of it's got a little bit of humor to it. The gunplay is really good, the way that they've designed it. It's not just following Americans or English, which I really like. I like the fact that they're including different countries that were involved in it, maybe minor countries that were involved. But like graphically, it's a gorgeous game. I'm playing it I'm upstairs on my couch playing it on the Xbox One X and just chilling, and it's a beautiful game. So I've enjoyed it so far. I'm on the third mission now and really enjoying it. But you can decide which one you want to play too. So if you're like, I don't want to cover Norway right now, I want to go to Spain, I can do that.
I like to sightsee.
Right. But the aspect of Battlefield that I've always enjoyed is the fact that everything is destructible, and it's great hiding in a building and then it blow up around you and you go, well, dude, gotta find a new place to hide.
I mean, I don't know if that's what I would call great so much.
Well, but that's the thing about it. Like it's more realistic, and I think that's like, don't get me wrong. There's aspects of Call of Duty campaigns that I absolutely love, but the fact that I'm actually scared of the NPCs, because NPCs aren't necessarily the smartest, but because of the fact that, oh, you must be in that area because I saw you go through the door. Let me blow up the building you might be in. Is a concept, and it's like, okay, now they can really find me, versus me sitting in there and cheesing it out and just kind of peeking behind a door, and
it's the answers to campers.
A little bit of this.
Yo, ass is gonna hide that building. I'm just gonna blow up the fucking building. Get out.
Right. They're like, okay, come at us now. So I do like that aspect of it, which just makes me hopeful for 2042. I just hope the plot line's good on it. Battlefield 4, which was the last modern one they did, was really good storyline wise. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and so I'm hoping that the 2042 one will be, and enjoying the fifth one right now. So we'll see. And I think that's it. I don't think I played anything else that I can think of anyway.
I've played, I think my time has been split between 3 things, and the only one of them that is solo has been, I've like 95 hours into Mass Effect. Well, I think that's cumulative. I think that's how much time I've put into the collection, but I'm into this Mass Effect 2 campaign for like 36 hours, and I think I'm super close to the end. I just gotta get there, and I forgot how long it was until you recruited a specific member of your crew, but now that I've recruited them, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I missed you. So that's been fun. And I'm working on my romance with my space husband. He's very awkward about things, and it's so cute, and I had forgotten like how shy and cute that whole interaction is. It's just adorable. BioWare, thank you for giving me cute little romances. Stop screwing everything up. Get back to that.
Get back to being good.
Well, see, now I'm like, what's the romance gonna be like in Dragon Age 4? Like it better be cute, and everything around it better make damn sense, or else I'm gonna be mad.
Probably not.
But the other stuff is we played Phasmophobia. That's so shocking. This weekend, which is a nice segue to talk about the fact that we are borrowing a VR headset, and I played one. told Chicken, I was like, I'll go into Phasmophobia for one round in that headset, and then that's it. I will go into an amateur level. I will play for 4.5 minutes in the house, and then I will sit in the van for the rest of the time because having it in 3D would be too much for me. It's not so much that the game was too scary for me, it's that the motion sickness is terrible. Like, if you're playing something like the Google VR, Google Earth thing, where you can go and look around stuff, or a lot of the playrooms where you're just moving around the room, that's fine. But the second you're in the thing where you have to, like, move your camera to move your head and your body, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in at once. It was neat. It was an interesting experience, but by the time that one round was over, I'm like, I have to take this off. I'm gonna throw up. Which, I mean...
I got a question for both of you on this one, because I know Chicken had a similar experience. Are either one of you susceptible to motion sickness? Like, do you ride roller coasters, anything like that?
I mean, I've ridden stuff.
I've ridden roller coasters.
Yeah, I usually don't have motion
good.
sickness with that stuff, but this is like,
okay.
It's impossible for your body to reconcile the fact that you are completely stationary while everything around you, it looks like you're moving. Like, there's just no way to for your body and mind, I guess, to make sense in that for right now.
See, that was fine for me. Like, my body could, I could move, like, I could move my character without me moving, and it didn't bother me that much. But the moment that because I even tried to move my eyes at the same rate as my camera was moving,
I guess.
Yeah, like, or I would just close my eyes.
Like you would if you're riding a roller coaster, you're looking at the tracks to go, right? Like, I'm moving this way next. Yeah.
Yeah, the roller coasters really didn't bother me, but it was like also because your hands get heavy and the pads are so sensitive.
Oh yeah, I started drifting like at one point because I didn't realize how close my thumb was to the pad.
Yeah, your vision would just drift, and then your brain is like, "Whoa, your eyes aren't moving, but your vision is moving," and it's just like a disconnect in your head. And you're just like, "Oh man."
What, mate? It's weird. It's very difficult to get yourself to move properly too. Like, because you're not the one that's like in control of your actual movement, but your brain is seeing what should be your actual movement. You're still trying to move it like a controller and whatnot, but it doesn't always make sense. So like playing on PC and watching Chicken as the dude in VR, he's like stumbling around like this drunk guy everywhere. And it's because it's just so hard to like get that movement proper, you know, especially when you're first trying it out. Is like, it was hilarious watching him. Like, he dropped stuff and we had his stream up. Like, he was streaming it to Discord, so we had his stream up while we were playing, so we'd be watching like a Cat and I at one point were in the van looking for ghost orbs, and he was in the hallway, and he dropped something on the stairs, and it slid down the stairs, and you see him, like, look, and then his character's like, whee! Because he can't figure out how to go get it, and then he can't bend over far enough, because you don't know how close you are, in real life to the ground. You don't want to, like, slam the controller into the ground, so you're trying to figure out how to pick up this imaginary thing, and at one point, he was trying to, put the basketball in the goal, but where he's at, the ceiling is not very high in his room right there, and so it's got this ceiling vent, and there's a magnet on one of the controllers for some reason, so he was trying to reach up and put the basketball in the goal, but he kept magnetizing his controller to the vent.
That's a magnet, by the way.
It's got to do something with the gyro part of it that I'm assuming something.
But it's only on this controller.
Yeah.
Is the other one just not? Do you think a cover came off of it?
I don't know.
Oh shit!
Like,
no idea.
It's not there at all.
Yeah. So just hear like could think because he had stuck to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to tell the difference between right and left. Maybe.
You could put it for whatever you want. Like when you activate them, it'll put a little icon on the controller that shows your right hand or your left hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever one you activate first is your right hand.
It was funny watching him walk around and like taunt the ghost in the hallway, because with the VR, when you're holding the flashlight, your hand is like this and your flashlight's just like stuck to it. So I watched him stand in the hall and be like, I see you down there, and flashing the flashlight everywhere. It's like, stop.
Like,
the ghost is going to have an epileptic seizure from you. Stop.
Like when I'm just standing there, it's a ton of fun, and I can move backwards and things like that. But like I said, the moment I start trying to move the camera, it just throws me off. That's why I backed myself into a corner up against the wall, and I'm just playing with the ghost, the camera in my left hand, and taunting it with my flashlight, looking for him, going like, "Where you is? Let's do this!" And then when it starts like hunting me, it's like I don't know how to move without like falling down the stairs.
We did let one of the other funny things about VR is it adjusts to whoever is the owner essentially, so it's adjusted to Chicken's height.
It adjusts based on, because I have the base station set up, and it asks on where you want to
and
adjust
you
the
set
height
it up
to it.
But
I put it on the floor.
Okay.
The character models in Phasmophobia are default 6 feet. The character models in Phasmo do not adjust to the
Cat couldn't reach things on the shelf. My sister is like 5 foot tall, and she couldn't reach the motion sensors on the shelves because she's too short. And her character model, because the default 6 feet, looked like they were just like crouched the whole time.
I could just see. That's okay. To be fair, could you imagine 4 people playing that game all in VR? And you got this one person that's sitting over in the corner trying to read.
I turned around and I was like, "Do you need me to get that down for you?"
Oh god,
it was really funny. I was like, "Do I need to come back to the van and help you reach things?" It was great though. But if we can fix the motion sickness, which Chicken's plan is one day when he finally decides that we're gonna get a VR, we're getting the omnidirectional thingy too, so that you can walk. Because that will probably help cut down a little bit on that motion sickness. Also,
like, wireless and the trackpad to where you could actually, I could play Phasmo if I didn't have to fucking turn the camera. Because at certain points, I just took my hand off of the camera thing, and I know the maps pretty well, so I would just literally walk in one direction, turn, and then, spin back the other way, and then spin back again so that I could just only move my character and be like, all right, I'm going this way. All right, let's go this way. All right, we're good. I hope I'm walking into a door. I'm going to swing around and open this door real quick. All right, I'm going to back up through the door and close it back.
Somebody's going to be like, what are you playing that on, Chicken? You'll be like, well, I got the brand new 6090 graphics card that just came out.
Good luck ever getting a graphics card ever again.
We'll be fine.
I played...
Get past 2021, we'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
I played about 4 rounds. The first round afterwards, I was like, all right, this is pretty uncomfortable. Holy shit. The second round, I was like, wow, I feel pretty nauseous. Griff, you want to try? You want to come play this thing? Because I took a break, got some water, got some Powerade, kind of settled back down. I played another round, and I was like, okay, now I'm starting to sweat. I need to try to fix this. I tried to get the cord up top, and it was spinning the cord instead of and I was already off equilibrium style. And then I played one more, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I was covered in sweat. I went from feeling good to being absolutely exhausted and so nauseous. I was like, okay. I did as much as I possibly could. I can't push myself any further. I played about 2.5 hours, and that was my absolute limit. Any more, and I would have just vomited everywhere.
But I'm wondering if that's kind of the thing, too, where you can turn around and go, okay, we're going to do a round, take a break, or do 2 rounds and take a break, and then go back into it type thing or whatever. Because this is supposedly supposed to be the future of gaming. But you think about it, the unit that you're using right now is a $900 unit plus a $350 card if you had the wireless attachment attached to it.
Yeah. So
you're looking at another $1,200 essentially. You have and then if you got the omnidirectional, you're looking at another $1,300.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at 2.5 just to get started in a good place, and even then that's a pretty high barrier to entry if this is the future of gaming.
Hence why I was waiting until the prices and that stuff come down.
But I would almost venture to say, based on your original, what was it, 10 years that you said it stated originally, I think you're almost going to look at another 10 years to make this affordable.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to wait for people to innovate that omnidirectional setup. You're going to have to make it more economical in the long run. You got to have somebody besides the freaking Quest 2 that will lock your entire system if your Facebook account gets hacked. To be able to give you different options. I mean, because $300 for a VR system is great from a Quest 2 standpoint, but at the same time, I can get my entire Steam library on this one with VR and everything else. And then if you get the wireless, cool, but it costs, four times the amount.
that will play into one of our things too with what Steam announced, and they're taking a major loss at developing this thing, which I think they're going to take that kind of development and move it over to the Vive. Be like, all right, we built this whole thing in this small little compact box, and it's really, really powerful. Let's do that with the Vive. So let's innovate the Vive a little bit further. So maybe another 10 years. By the end of this decade, we'll have a little bit more acceptable price on our VR.
I hope so.
We'll see.
So,
I mean, it'd be nice to, it's fun if they can just, but you have to have all of these peripherals to make it so that you're not, it's fun for 5 minutes and then I have to be done with it.
Yeah, and I looked up how people deal with motion sickness and whatnot. A lot of them were just like, You play hard until you feel absolutely horrible, then you stop, you come back down, you play hard again. You basically force your body to adapt to it and get used to it. And then, I think one guy was like, after 6 hours of, playing it on and off and on and off and on and off, I played with no problem. It didn't bother me at all anymore.
And I think it's the same way. There's people that have just a regular first-person shooter have that same problem going into the game and playing it that way. In that first person view, if they're not used to playing that and being able to move around, or if heaven forbid you have the motion blur on, that's what causes it for me. Something like that it can end up causing as well for just regular. So this is just a new addition to gaming that causes that problem.
But it looks so good and it's so much fun. I got to walk through Darnassus and Stormwind, different places in Silent Hill. I got to go through the castle of Super Mario 64. It's a lot of fun. It is so much fun. But you just gotta just a little bit further. You gotta move the technology up a little bit further. Yeah. For the starting point, it's a good point to be at. It's just that motion sickness will really get you, because I know Ali has told us about it.
You got it for another week, so I'm interested to see what you end up coming with for an entire week for next show for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Beyond that, we've done World of Warcraft stuff. Obviously, we're finally getting to the point where we're getting to do some of the 25-man raids too, and it's one of those things where it's yes, we don't have to coordinate 40 people. It's gonna be 25 idiots though. I mean, I'm kidding. It's not 25 idiots, but there is there's a mechanical learning curve that you have to if you yourself are there, it's okay, cool. Now I have to look around me and see who around me I need to help drag up this learning curve so that I can help all 25 of us be completely successful. And some of it's just bad RNG. The boss that we did get down this week was Gruul. And he does this thing where he knocks people around, and once you're knocked around, there's going to be a shatter, so you have to make sure nobody's around you, or else they take damage and so do you. And if you get knocked into somebody, if you get thrown into a group with that just because bad RNG, man, it is almost impossible for one person to not die. I killed somebody. I killed Taryn, our rogue.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
I was sitting off in the back away from everyone, and no one near me. I got thrown in the group of a bunch of healers and some other people, and no matter where I was going to run, someone was going to die.
Yeah. Ugh. You're supposed to stand 18 yards away from each other, and that's the problem is once you, that's all well and good if you can manage it. People, there's a range check. Get out of my freaking bubble.
Yeah.
But then you get thrown, and that throws that out of whack. I got thrown into Taryn and Lyric both, and I killed Taryn, which is ironic because it's one of those things where it's I'm the healer and I murdered someone.
Hey,
finally,
better him than you.
I finally get to taste death. Yes. But it's
Which
like,
I'm sure he appreciates.
yeah, I know. I did watch
Hey,
though.
buddy.
I had my range check on, and I found one place between one of our mages and Red, classified if you're in guild and know him that way. And I swear he cannot stand still to save his life, because I watched him shimmy closer to me, and I was like, I can't go any further to the right. Stop moving. I don't know what he was doing. He died though,
So
and then I was
basically,
like, well, I don't have
plays
to
the
worry
way he
about
lives
him.
life. Is that what you're saying? He plays the way he lives life.
Well,
He can't
and the
stand
thing
still.
is, I know he knows the mechanics. I just know that when he plays this healer, because druids are a lot about instacasts, he likes to run around when he's doing it, but in this one you're not supposed to, and I think he just has a hard time breaking that habit. Because I was watching him fidget around next to me, and there's literally no one on his other side, and I'm like, I know you have your range check on. I know you see my name in your range check. Why are you doing this? And then he resurrected somebody in the middle of the fight who wouldn't go out of my bubble either, and I'm like, I just waited for those two to kill each other so that I didn't have to worry about them anymore. And that's sad, because that was two healers and I needed them both to be alive, but they were both being idiots and I felt like they deserved it. Don't be dumb. We're actually going to go back to a raid that we didn't get to finish last night, or this week tonight, so that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Hopefully we can destroy it this time. I'll have a shiny new weapon for it.
Oh, good. Wait, you hope that you're gonna get one, or you have one now?
Well, as soon as we're done with this, I'm gonna go get it. It's the gun from Hold.
Oh, okay, cool.
I got enough rep while I was in there earlier before the podcast to get the gun, because I desperately need some kind of new weapon until I can get my bow.
Yeah, well, don't we all? Don't we all? But that's what that's what I've been doing. That's what we've been doing as a group. You guys have anything individually that you guys have been doing?
I played Rogue Squadron 2 on the GameCube since I didn't have my internet last week.
I'm out of internet. Time for retro gaming. Like, that's where we're at.
I went back to the Dark Ages.
But that's the sad part, right? Like, that's the only way you could play some of these older play games when the electricity goes out or the internet goes out or whatever.
Well, the internet.
Is find some.
Did you have fun?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nintendo.
I actually went and used my phone and found some of the old cheat codes.
Oh my
So,
god.
like,
That's awesome.
I unlocked the Cadillac car for the flying around, so I basically was just a Cadillac car flying around and shooting down TIE fighters.
Oh my god. Wow. That's funny.
Because I was like, but yeah, I did that. I played some Divinity, not Divinity, but Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, it's the same engine as Divinity, but they did some updates to it, so I could actually progress past a certain point without the game bugging out on me like it was before.
That's sad. I mean,
yeah, originally I was having issues where it's like, oh, so someone in your party died, and it's their turn in combat. I can't skip it. I couldn't do anything, so I had to restart the whole thing again.
nice.
It's like,
That'll teach you to let your party members die.
not my fault that they stand in fire.
I mean, they're a party, so yeah, it kind of is, I guess. If it controls the same way as Divinity, I guess. I don't know how that one does.
It does, but I mean, I can't do much if it's not their turn to move them out of it. But by the time it hits their turn, it's like, oh, you took enough fire damage, you're dead.
Rip.
Well, I'm glad that you fixed it. I bought Baldur's Gate 2 on this sale, like this go around, but I don't know when I'm gonna get a chance to play it.
Yeah, I know, right? You've got WoW and you've got Mass Effect that you're still working through.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that's what the Steam library's for. It's just a backlog.
Yeah, it's just a library to collect
Nobody
these old
plays
tomes
games
that
on
you're never
Steam,
gonna
you
get
just
to read.
buy
We'll
them.
get to play it at some point.
I would hope so, but I know I've already committed to, like, once fall gets around, it's gonna be Skyrim, and then it's gonna be the entire Dragon Age series. So it's like, well, when am I gonna have any time to put anything in between that and WoW? I mean, really.
This is why you don't make plans that far in
I
advance.
like my plans. I just, not have a whole lot of time for other stuff.
Well, then you must not like them too much.
I mean, I do.
Yeah, but you don't have any time for anything else now.
Shut
I mean, well, in other news, we got Snitty on our Ark server.
Yo, yeah, that's right. We did that too. I forgot.
Nice.
We played some Ark. We got Snitty up on the server. He's officially part of New Tribe Who Dis.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
New tribe what?
New Tribe Who Dis.
That's the name of the tribe.
Who dis?
The New Tribe Who Dis.
Yeah. He's like running around going, what's this stuff? What's this stuff? We finally got the inflatable dinosaur costume. Hilarious. Like
Oh, you
watching
sent me a
him run
picture
around.
of that one.
Yeah.
And you said it does squeaky sounds.
It does.
Too.
It,
Yeah,
it
it's
sounds like the
squeaky.
little squeaky outfit, you know. So it's like he's crouched down trying to sneak up on things, and it's going squeak, 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 squeak. Like, oh my god, hilarious, hilarious. Oh, so good. I hope we get to play again.
Is it just like a costume you put on, or do you put it on like an actual?
You put it on like a gear piece.
You put it on a chest piece.
Yeah.
But put it on the ghillie suit. That would make it fantastic.
That's like really counterintuitive. Here's the ghillie suit that is used for sneaking, and now it goes squeak, squeak, squeak. It was really funny though. Pretty good. Watching it, like, that's fun on another level of watching somebody go, what's this? Oh my god, what's that? Oh my god, what's that? And letting him try stuff out. He almost killed himself with the what is that thing called? Willem. What is that? It's like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's the Sasquatch thing.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, you can use it to
Gigantopithecus.
throw you. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? And I had him throw himself, and he almost died, and it was great.
Yeah, we showed him around, got him his own bird. He's ready to take on the world now.
Maybe. We'll see.
He went from 0 to 76 in like 3
Yeah,
hours.
but that's because
so I
you
think he's
jacked
fine.
up the XP game.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
It was taking forever to get the damn saddle.
Yeah, we've almost got the trank darts and the like the super trank darts and the Quetzal saddle. Quetzal
And then we'll
platform
rule the
saddle.
world. Oh wait,
Yes.
we're the only ones there, so technically we already do.
Put on the back of the thing so we can fly around it and slam it into the Titansaurus or whatever it is.
Yeah, the big old Titansaur that's glitched over in the red obelisk.
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, you guys got anything else, or you want to talk about some news?
No, we can start with following up on one of our
Yeah,
topics from last
ahead.
week. How we went on a tangent about Kojima and Death
Literally,
Stranding.
listen
the
to the
day
show.
after. The
No,
No,
day
it was
day
like
after.
the
It was
same
hours.
day.
Right
yeah,
after?
it was like hours.
He was listening to the show, by the way. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But he came out and strongly disagreed with the title director's cut because
For
he
Death
feels like
Stranding.
this is just extra stuff that he added in because he got to do pretty much everything he wanted anyway. So let's see. A director's cut in a movie. What he tweeted out, director's cut in a movie is additional edit to a shortened version that was either released reluctantly because the director did not have the right to edit it or because the running time had to be shortened. In the game, it is not what was cut, but what was additionally produced that was included, Director's Plus. So in my opinion, I don't like to call it director's cut. So that whole spiel that we did last week, I feel like he's retracting it because we called him out on it. So it's all good.
I mean, come on. It makes perfect sense. It's like, dude, you're the one that did all this shit, everything else. But I am glad he's coming up saying, Sony, what you doing?
Yeah.
Why you
you
make
call
this
this-
director's cut?
Why you make me look bad, yo?
I guess they went with
So-
it because it's a common phrase that people are used to seeing.
I
mean-
guess, but but in our industry, like with the gaming industry in general, definitive edition has become kind of a common thing.
Yeah, but
and when
definitive
you
edition-
when you switch between consoles, that's usually when you call definitive edition. Based on what he's saying, is basically there's some things available on PS5 that weren't available on PS4 when it came up, so that allows some of this stuff to be introduced. So therefore, it would be a definitive edition of the game. It would be allow you to be able to do 4K.
Yeah.
So is Definitive Edition the new version of Game of the Year? I guess Game of the Year comes with all of the content, though. Maybe that's the difference. Definitive is
Game of the Year usually implies that it won an award somewhere, too.
They give out Game of the Year editions of games all the time, whether they've won anything or not.
Yeah, true. Game of the Year.
It used to mean that they won Game of the Year. So.
Yeah, it was way back in the day.
Yeah, that's when those things mattered.
Yeah. So that's just following up on last week's little article.
I know, it's like whose game is it anyway?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to talk about Steam Deck, since we were talking about the VR and everything earlier?
Ooh, this beautiful piece of technology. First of all, I think it was episode 325 that we have to refer back to when we were first talking about it. I don't know. Maybe that was the episode. I know that we talked about it, and this is pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be.
I think the analog sticks are weird.
The what?
The analog sticks. I think they're both at the same place, and they're really high up for some reason. That's going to be strange.
It's the way a Switch is, isn't it?
Yeah, the Switches are... Well, one of them's up high, one of them's down low.
Yeah, the Switch still has the... two positions.
But I mean, I want to put my hands on one. Like, I definitely want to put my hands on one. The first gen. So I'm gonna wait. But this is pretty much exactly what I figured that they would make. It's literally a hyper-powered Switch. The battery life is about 2 to 8 hours, depending on what you're playing. Witcher on...
That's so ridiculous.
2 hours.
Witcher on
let me go ahead
graphics is... You're only going to get a couple of hours, which... okay, that's a little too... it's a little less, but... it's a pretty beastly all-around console. The specs look good. It's not limited to just Steam, because somebody was like, "Can you install the Epic Game Store on this thing?" And they're like, "Yep, whatever you could do on a Linux system, you could do on this thing. It's literally just a portable PC."
Well, you can even, based on the way it's set up, you can even install Windows if you wanted to. I would not recommend it. Windows is about 70 gig, where the Linux system is Linux. People don't realize how bloated Windows is.
Oh,
Linux is about 2 gig in size, so 2 to 4 gig, depending on which version of Linux you're running. And so it's going to take up a lot of space. And considering the fact that the smallest hard drive is 64 gig, you can't even install Windows on the smallest version of this.
Definitely going to have auxiliary disk space.
But now there is an advantage to doing, because you do have an option for micro SD, and micro SD, if you went with a 512 gigabyte micro SD, it's like $30. It's not very expensive, but the advantage to, if you wanted to do Windows and add that onto the system, it does give you the option of Game Pass as well. So think about it that way. It is an additional thing that you could end up adding onto it. If you wanted to. Me personally, if I was buying it, I would probably leave it as a Linux machine, first of all, because I don't want it to fuck up anything for me adding it on, because Microsoft is notorious for not having drivers for anything. So it's like not having a driver for it and you bricking this brand new machine you just bought. I wouldn't do it. I would leave it the way it is, allow for the Linux games to be able to be played. 2 to 8 hours just isn't enough time. I would be interested to see if you have one of those battery packs that has a way to actually power this, if it's enough to power and play at the same time. The Switch, the answer is yes, if you have a good one, which mine is strong enough to be able to do that. But it doesn't mean that in this particular case it would be, because this is a lot more powerful than the Switch. Some of the details that they gave on this, I was looking at the teraflops earlier that they had on it. For the GPU teraflops, they actually don't have, they've got up to 1.6 teraflops that's on there. To give you an idea, the Xbox Series S is 4 teraflops. So you figure about half the GPU of what you get on the Xbox Series S. The X is 12, I think, teraflops. So but I've seen people playing it since it came out, because a lot of people had test versions of it. I've seen people playing it, and they were playing Star Wars Fallen Order, and they were playing it on high graphic settings, which, to be fair, you're putting on a 7-inch screen, so I don't really think you have to have it on high to start with. But secondly, it's not producing a lot to put it on a 7-inch screen a lot in the first place.
Yeah,
So
I mean, this thing has 16 gigs of RAM too. Like that's as much RAM as my computer has. So the ability to be able to multitask with this thing is pretty damn high too. It comes with a 4-core, 8 hyper-threaded CPU. Again, that's a really powerful CPU you're sticking in this thing, which I totally get because Gabe Newell, Jesus, as he is looking like these days. It came out and it said that it's extremely painful to put this thing at the price point it was, but it was necessary in order to get it to move, because with these kind of specs, this thing is a powerful machine, a powerful little machine. It will compete with the Switch, hands down. Like, you have your whole access to your Steam library in this powerful little machine that you can take wherever. Yeah, the battery life might not be as much as you want it to be, but there are plugs everywhere around the whole world that you can power it by. So it looks so good. It only runs off Wi-Fi. You don't get mobile data, things like that. It can only be ran off of Wi-Fi. It's got plenty of USB ports, it's expansion slots, and I don't know if it's true, so don't quote me on this one, but somebody sent Gabe Newell an email and asked if you could upgrade the SSD inside of it, and he said yes. He just basically gave the little slot piece, so it's like, yes, you can upgrade the solid state drive. So we'll see, because I guarantee some of the people who buy it are going to dismantle that motherfucker immediately and see what it's capable of.
Yeah, I'm sure
Anything like that,
Digital Foundry is going to
comes
have
out.
something soon on it.
What was that, Baka?
Anything like that comes out, people instantly dismantle.
Oh yes, which I mean, it's cool. It's exactly what I wanted from Steam. I'm glad, like, this is what they were putting out for their hardware, and it's good to see, because Valve is literally just a storefront. It's good to see them taking all of those percentages and actually doing something with them in the back.
Has anybody looked at comparable laptop to this?
If I had to guess, the laptop that we have is probably pretty comparable to this thing. And it was like $400 when we got it on sale, $450 on sale.
So about the same price is
Yeah,
what they're
about
selling
the
this
same.
for. But yeah, okay. So if that's the case, I mean, I think because I know that's some of the arguments somebody's going to end up making about the fact that why you have this if you have laptops that are available to you to do it. But I think the other thing is what I like about this is that ease of, I don't have to have an extra controller if I don't want to. It's easy to travel with.
It's more hands-friendly.
And it does put that market. This is going to be one of those things to where I'm going to look at it and go, I'm looking forward to what this is in 10 years. But I also think this is what they should have worked on when they were trying to create the Steam machine, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. This is what they should have been working
I
on.
feel like that was Steam's version of the Wii U, where they were like, this is what we want to be able to do, and then it just didn't work out, just like the Wii U didn't work out, and Nintendo's like, this is what we actually wanted it to be, and Valve was like, see, this is what we wanted in the end game. It's just it didn't work out. It's like, all right, fair enough. Let's see. Let's see where we're going with this. So I'm excited. It looks good. It's gonna come out in December. It's a $5 reserve fee before you can order it. But they're already hitting eBay. Do not buy it from eBay, because those orders that are confirmed are not.
Yeah.
You could buy that for $900, and then that person's order gets canceled, and then you're out $900 because they didn't get one. So don't do it. Just wait, folks.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't be dumb.
Also, don't give the scalpers, more.
Yeah.
Exactly what
Definitely
they-
don't do that.
For sure.
Let them buy
Don't
the shit
condone bad
and then
behavior.
Sit on it because they can't move it.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out where we go from that.
There's just a bunch of all
Like,
sorts of random bits of
disconnected
news.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and to be fair, you could, because we were talking about the Switch. When you talk about Nintendo has had their fighting game that they've had for absolutely years, which is the Smash series. Is getting competition in quotation marks, because we don't know how good this is going to end up, but it's weird competition.
I watched the trailer of it. Baka's first of all going to love the shit out of this because he gets to play TMNT. and
Yeah.
it's like
I
it's not.
watched it. There's two Ninja Turtles. There's Powdered Toast Man that's in it. Which I thought was random because in recent years, Nick has seemed like they have tried to
Distance
separate
themselves?
themselves more from Ren and Stimpy
Yes.
because of how weird and fucking gross it is.
How not kid friendly that show is? Yes.
You know where they smoke lawn cigars, which is basically just dog food.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's in there. Of course, SpongeBob is fucking in it.
Of course.
I mean, it's like the biggest.
Invader Zim. I know, like they canceled that, but I guess because of the fan base behind it, they were like, yeah, well, this will get some.
Yeah,
Well, they
Chicken's
did,
like, they're marketing this to kids, and I'm like, okay, but they're also marketing it very strongly to those kids' parents, because those kids are not going to know who Invader Zim and Powdered Toast Man are.
But it's perfect.
Nope.
You get the parents in the mindset of like, oh yeah, I want this, and then their kids watch them play it, and it looks friendly enough for the kids to kind of jump into it too, because it's got enough characters that it's recognizable for them too.
And if they do the same route as what they do with Smash Brothers, they can always go in and add in more of the characters. They can add in more
Which I think is why you have 2 Ninja Turtles and not 4 Ninja Turtles and
sure
things
that's
like
the
that. I think it's going to be
the
additionally
other
added.
two, they could add in
April! Put in April! She's awesome!
I'm sure they
Chucky
will.
From Rugrats.
Oh, I
Casey
was like,
Jones.
Or Angelica.
oh man,
her in there.
Angelica? One of
Oh,
her,
yeah.
like, supers has to do with her doll that I can't
She
remember.
does
I'd
a
like-
loud scream. Nigel from the Thornberries, I think, is going to be broken, though.
Probably. Smashing!
Smash! Boom! Like
Yeah.
breaks the whole map.
I like the fact that they're doing this. I think that if you can get something that competes well with an actual first party Nintendo game, I think it says a lot for what you're trying to do. The other thing about it is too, CBS Viacom is who owns Nintendo. I'm not Nintendo, sorry, Nickelodeon.
I was like,
Oh,
wait,
wow.
This
no.
person owns Nickelodeon, which right now you've got Warner Brothers that's doing a great job with their HBO series and everything else, where Paramount Plus is, people have it, but it's not great. And so I think that this is kind of their way of using their marketing the best they can, because if to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers comes out with one for Cartoon Network and comes out with one with Johnny Bravo and all that stuff, so we end up with
Yeah.
another
they
one
did
that's similar.
something
I'm
like
mistaken,
that
they did
a
one
long
like
time
that.
ago. Yeah,
There you
Cartoon
go.
Network did something similar. I want to say Nickelodeon did something very similar when the Smash Brothers games first came out as well.
Yeah, I think they did. One of the big things about this, though, is that when they approached the company that's making this game, they were like, "Hey, we want you to make a arena fighting style game, and we're just gonna let you do it." And the company was like, "The Nickelodeon has been completely hands off. They basically handed us the rights to all of this and said, good luck." Like, they've got some say on which characters get to be put in and whatnot, which, again, they seem to be pretty loose because they're going with Powder Toast Man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also how you do it. Nickelodeon's like, we make shows, so we're not going to tell you how to make games since, that's kind of what you do. So you make a game, and watching it looks like it plays just like Super Smash Brothers.
Graphically, it looks so good too. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, it looks like a straight up cartoon, people fighting each other. It's fantastic.
Yes, I think it'll do pretty well. Like, I think they're gonna, because they even were like, hey, we want this in esports style. We want competitive game styles. We want it to be ready to play fully out of the box. Like, as soon as it comes out, you can just get into it and then smash.
It's also good to have something other than, like, if this becomes a successful game, other than a SpongeBob game, having something successful.
Yes.
SpongeBob, like the Battle for Bikini Bottom was, is a great game, but it's like, if you can have the rest of your series create something that's really good, that'll be nice.
The Smash market is so consumed with Smash, though, that I don't know that you'll be able to sway a lot of people over and make this into the esport that they want it to be. You know,
the thing is you have to make it feel like Smash. You have to make it so that the people's skill from Smash translates like just smooth like butter over to it. It's literally the only difference is the faces on it. That's how they want to be able to.
The other thing that you're dealing
Ball.
with is Smash is on one console only. This is across all the consoles, so it's available to everybody. And if you make it cross-play to where a PlayStation person, an Xbox person, a Switch person can all play against each other, it changes the game. Where with Smash, you only have one option.
what were you gonna say
Well,
about
the Dragon Ball Fighter Z game, a lot of people that I know that were really big into Smash Brothers got into that because of the fact that basically with the fighting games, they want something that they can feel like they're actually doing more than mashing random buttons. Like there's actual combos that they can learn and figure out, and the timing and things like that. That's why, like, even though Mortal Kombat is popular with most just average gamers, it's usually not like a super big one in fighting tournaments, because the fact that how they make their games is like anyone can pick up the controller and do all these awesome moves and stuff, and not really learn the combos and mechanics behind it. I mean, yeah, Smash, you can kind of do the same thing, but it rewards the players more who actually learn how to time their combos and moves and things like that.
There's a higher skill ceiling for certain games. Mortal Kombat has a very low skill ceiling. Like you can smash that game pretty easy. But for like Super Smash Brothers, there's definitely a curve to where you can see, your starters into your medium players to your extreme players.
I think that ties into another article, actually. So good job on that, sort of, in a tangential way. Like, Microsoft wants to get rid of the whole Git Gud mentality. But I guess they're looking at it for, like, single-player style things, where they're going to remove or set things to, like, the lowest difficulty, where it's basically an invulnerability thing. So
Double Fine in Psychonauts has an option where you literally turn on invincibility and then you just walk through the game.
I'm for accessibility and having a curve so that you can turn down a difficulty so that, somebody like your kids or whatnot can play a game and actually finish it. But at the same time, I don't know how I feel about games having invincibility mode. I mean, at that point, why you could just watch the YouTube version and get almost the same effect, because
I think it goes back to like when you go back to older games that were there, one of the things that you could do, like we'll use Wolfenstein 3D for an example. ILM, if you actually held down ILM at the beginning of Wolfenstein, you went into God mode, because it was literally a way for them to be able to play test the game, and it was a code that they were passed on to us. This is probably something that they created for themselves and just went ahead and left it in the game for people to be able to play. I don't disagree with the aspect of the fact this is beating the game. I think what the difference is for those achievement hunters out there, it shouldn't be an achievement. It should be where I want my kid to be able to play and enjoy this game.
Yeah, like I agree. Like you don't get to brag about beating the game if you beat it on invincibility mode. It's like asking for a participation trophy. It's like, yeah, you played it, cool, that's all good, but you don't get to come like brag to me about how easy the boss was because you were invincible, whereas I had to, actually decipher the game and figure out how to beat it. To like thinking about it, and I've thought about a comparison. It's like in school where the teacher told you to read a book and then you went and watched the movie and then wrote it. It's like you're just taking a shortcut. It's not the same thing. I mean, you kind of get the same idea, but you didn't really experience the book. It's the same thing where you didn't get to experience the game or the difficulty or the hardships, and that's fine. Some people don't have time for that. That's all good. But you don't get to watch a movie and then brag about reading the book.
Oh, I think that's the thing too. Like the invincibility, like I don't have a problem with easy mode, because I mean, like even the original Halo, when you went through, if you played on, once they had put achievements in the system, It was if you played on Halo and you played on the easiest level for it, you got an achievement for that. But if you played on the next one, which was heroic, right? So you played on it, you got it.
Easy,
Or no, actually, it was
heroic,
easy,
and
normal,
legendary.
and then heroic, and then legendary. So you got one for each one of those that were available. I don't think there should be one available at all for invulnerability. I don't have a problem with saying, hey, you know, I've got a 10-year-old that's just not, maybe has some type of issue, not great at video games, whatever it happens to be, but would enjoy the plot line of this, and I want them to be able to play. Having that option for them, I think, is fun, but I think it's one of those where it's like, it is, as an adult with that is a healthy adult, I don't think this should be an option for you to be able to go through, especially if you're an achievement hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like on the fence about it, because like I said, I'm all for accessibility, and you know, sometimes things are tough for, you know, reasons like Dark Souls. Obviously, that's going to be a hard game for you to experience if you're not going to put forth the effort and deal with the frustration. I mean, but that's packaged into the gameplay of it, I would say.
This is the opposite of the Sekiro situation.
Yeah.
Like, you remember them? They were like, let's put an easy mode in. Just put an easy mode in for us so we can play the game, blah, blah, blah. And these people are like, okay, here's your easy mode, and we're going to put vulnerability in. And then everybody is like, but it needs to be harder. You can't give these people credit for beating the game. You know, like, it's the opposite. So
yeah,
weird.
like, I mean, because some people ask for a skip boss button in Dark Souls or Cuphead, and it's like...
No, that's not what those games are doing.
It's not what the game is about. Like, I get it. You want to play it. But as an adult, you don't get everything you fucking want.
But I mean, I guess they're also saying that some of this is for
I mean,
kids.
they can in Dark Souls if they paid money to get some kind of a cheat code for the game.
Yeah. Mod the bosses out of the game.
I don't know. I feel like certain games this would be fine for.
Invincibility, where they don't have to try as hard for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Certain games this would be okay for. Certain games it's not. Like Dark Souls is almost never going to give you an invincibility mode so that you can experience the story. Because if you want to experience the story, there are a lot of no commentary playthroughs on YouTube. You're welcome to experience the story and watch somebody do it for you where you don't have to deal with it. But other games, I mean, I guess games that are, you know, maybe more kid friendly, and it is one of those things where you want your kids to be able to play it, but they're not as dexterous as you are. So there's a setting for you, which is normal or hard, and there's a setting for them, which is easy. I just don't know that I'd want to be like, here's the controller, why don't you have invincibility mode? You can do nothing wrong. That feels
agree.
weird to me. It feels like it's because games are not necessarily teaching tools, but they kind of are. I mean,
They are. Like, you learn hand-eye coordination, you learn dexterity, you learn problem solving. Like, there are a lot...
that you know, you don't have any sort of disabilities or anything. That's an
Yeah,
accessibility
yeah.
issue on a different topic slightly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing where... I mean, if you're not an artist or you can't appreciate art, you don't go to a museum and complain about not
Why you
understanding.
don't understand it?
Well,
yeah,
but I mean,
it's
you
kind of...
this is an extreme argument in a way, but I'm looking at it as an accessibility issue, right? So you're creating a version of the game that's easier for you to play in some way, depending on who the person is.
Right.
Same thing with Grounded. Grounded has big giant spiders in them, but you can make them look like cookie dough.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I did.
you know, which people could say, well, that's an easier way to play the game. You're just going to have to learn to adapt to the thing. But the difference is, in both cases, it's I have a disability of some sort and can't play the game normally. So vulnerability helps me, keeping me from dying every 5 seconds, so I don't enjoy the game. I have a crippling fear of spiders. This allows me to be able to play the game and be able to enjoy it with my friends.
Yeah, but turning the spider look down doesn't change the difficulty of the game. You still have to adapt and learn how to fight that spider.
Actually, I wouldn't even say that it does make it a little bit more difficult because it's hard to see the hitbox style on the spiders.
I would say that, but I think that it's also there are some certain people, as soon as they see that spider, they stop totally anyway.
Yeah.
So where if you're looking at the two pieces of dough, you're more willing to fight it where you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think that's where that element of accessibility comes in, because everyone has a different level of what they're willing to deal with. Yeah, tolerance, what they're willing to deal with and what they can deal with. So the invulnerability, I don't have a problem with. I just don't think it should be. I think it should be to where it's in the accessibility area for a reason. And it's there for those people to be able to play through the game that can't normally.
Yeah, like I'm fine if you're going to add accessibility options. It's perfectly fine. But again, you don't get achievements. You don't get to brag about how good you are for beating the game.
I don't see anybody playing on invincibility mode bragging about it. I think that it's fine as long as it disables any sort of achievements or anything like that. So that you can't be like, I beat this game in its entirety, when a lot of achievements are going to be based on difficulty modifiers or things like that. It's like, but you didn't, I'm glad that you enjoyed the game. But there are still other things that
especially if one of them is like beat all the bosses in this game without taking any damage.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
That kind of reminds me of the Avatar game on the 360 that so many people would
the 2009 one. Yep.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember which one it was, but people would get it just to unlock like a bunch of achievements to build up their store. Because all the achievements in it were completely just so super easy to get.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that's long been a thing with achievement hunters, is you play easy games to pad your score a little bit, and then you play some of the serious stuff to get trophy achievements, essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter how you're playing your own game in your own house. You just can't be like, I'm a badass. It's like, well, you played that game on invincibility mode.
Not really. Not really. Like watching watching the people play Dark Souls without getting hit, that's a fucking badass. Those people are crazy. So
that's interesting.
Too funny.
Yeah. What? We have like 2 things left. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, they're related to each other. So, Chicken, you want to start with the Stadia one, and then we can go into the
Stadia
other one.
This, I'm afraid of something like this because this is it has a possibility of completely changing the dynamic for subscription systems. But Stadia is going to give devs a cut of Stadia Pro revenue based on how often their game is played.
So, okay, why is this a bad thing? Like, subscriptions will go up because there's a popular game?
Subscriptions will stay the same, but development of games will change to basically you want to get people to play your game for longer periods of time.
Create replayability and addictiveness.
Yeah.
So think of it as Fortnite. If Fortnite was being played based on how often people were playing it.
Yes.
Versus, let's say it was a $10 game instead of a free to play game. But it was one of those where you went in and you played the game, and every time you played the game, the people that got it got money for the time you played the game from Google.
It's going to dissuade developers from creating shorter games because it's not going to create that much income. Like, they're going to try to bloat games so that you play them longer.
Oh, so everyone
that
is going to look like Assassin's Creed games do.
Exactly. Like, they want, like, even if they could chop you in for 40 hours or so because it's bloated, like, that's good. They make more money that way. But I think that's a dangerous route because...
Well, it's going to lead to things like the time gating of actual content. Like, Dragon Age played with it a little bit in Inquisition, where they had the war table, and they time gated stuff. You had to do this mission on the war table, and it sent out these imaginary forces, but it was going to take like 4 to 6 to 8 to 16 to 24 real-time hours before that objective was complete. They're going to start doing that in games like that and make it part of the
which you also had in Black
gameplay.
Flag as well. So like you're starting at Black Flag, you had the fleet, Kenway's fleet that you sent out, and it took anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours for your fleet to come back.
Didn't do as much.
So artificial time inflation in games and the reduction of smaller game, like bite-sized games, because I don't know how many games I've played that are like short and sweet and they're super good. And they won't want to do that as much because it's not going to bring in any revenue for them. They're only going to get the sales of the game, and that's it. They just won't be played long enough to increase their revenue style. So it's going to dissuade them from creating games like that. And I can only see this like getting worse as time goes on too. But like, all right, now we're not going to share revenue. You only get paid for how long your game is played. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
The interesting thing about this, the particular
but it's also
article
Stadia.
that we're looking at
Nobody
too,
plays fucking Stadia.
it doesn't mention any of the competition. It only mentions Stadia, and which Luna is Amazon's version of this, And then recently Netflix has hired people on to be able to do the same thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm interested to see where this progresses. Like, if this ends up being the model, are these other two going to have to follow suit, or are they going to try to stick with the model they have and go from there? My problem is I don't think Stadia was launched right to start with, which is part of the issue. I think Luna's doing it the right way, and the fact that they're like, we're going to keep this as early access as we can. We have to approve the people that are currently doing it to make sure they have the right internet speed and everything else to make sure it's tested properly. So they have your information on that, where I feel like Stadia is just like, and here you go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you actually have a chance to purchase the game with through Stadia and through their system. So if it ever goes down, it's gone. Where with Luna, if Luna goes, okay, we're no longer gonna have this subscription service, I'm just out of streaming version of the game. So I can't, there's no actual purchasing of games for the actual system itself. It's more like Game Pass, and the fact that it's offering you based on your subscription. And Netflix, they've done a data mine on Netflix for their system, and it could suggest that there might be a partnership with PlayStation for their subscription service that they're working on. So maybe I wonder if it would be like a timed thing to where it would be kind of where they're like, okay, we're going to do old PS3 games.
I've got to say, if Netflix was looking to get into this market, they should have bought GameFly. Like they should have just bought up GameFly. And
but
then,
hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, but they should have bought GameFly. Like, they're going to do the same thing that Blockbuster did. They're like, oh no, we overlooked GameFly. And then somebody else is going to buy them and have that. Because GameFly, a long time ago, actually had their own client inside of the computer that you could rent games from their online library and play. Like, you got a license for 30 days. And then once that 30 days was up, you had to sign back on or whatever, the game would lock. Right. I mean, it's pretty much what Netflix wants anyway. They want a library in which people can rent online games, which is completely possible.
But I feel like it's going to be because they're working on a streaming service similar to their regular movies that they have. That it's a possibility that in this particular case, it's just going to be like it is with Netflix, where you open up Netflix, and when you open it up, you click on the game version of the system, and here you think they keep raising the prices on us, right? Netflix keeps raising the prices.
We don't have the infrastructure to support game streaming as a common service yet.
Yeah, we gotta make sure everybody gets the same good internet.
We're working towards that, but all of these companies like jumping to that already, and we're not even there yet.
Well, because I think the idea, and I think that's why Luna's doing it correctly, in the fact that they realize that's why they're approving people, because they don't want everybody in our town to have that service, because they realize it's going to bog down the freaking internet, right?
Exactly.
And bog down their system as well. So they want to spread that out. Where I think that Google based their system, Stadia system, on the fact that Google Fiber exists, and therefore it would supply and help those people.
Yeah.
But it's the problem is it's limited on where that's at, so it doesn't work out. And I think with Netflix has like 200 million subscribers. So if they're able to get this to work and put it out, think how bogged down the system's going to be if they can't get it to work, in the same parameters, if you will, of the movies they currently release.
Okay,
which
first
I don't
of all,
see them happening.
how many people watch Netflix while playing video games? A lot, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine those motherfuckers trying to stream a game while also streaming a show at the same time. Like, it's not going to work.
Fiber everywhere.
One of those two are going to lag. Yeah.
Fine.
We've got a little ways to go before we're at that level yet. So.
It'd be nice though.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Did we talk about the Netflix thing? That's what we're talking about. Okay, cool.
That's what I just talked about.
Just dumb. Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just dumb. I'm over here being dumb.
That was all the news, Grif. Come on now.
Yeah, that's everything.
Well, we have done a good job. Go team. I'm proud of us. Yeah, I know, right? And I'm proud of us to the extent that now that the show is pretty much over, I'm like, oh man, now I gotta go do chores, though. Is there other things we can talk about so I can continue to procrastinate with my chores?
No, because you don't want to have this thing take longer to edit.
Which is also one of my chores. It just gets lumped in. Fine. I guess that's fine. Guess I can go do real chores. Instead of my in-game chores.
So nothing else. We good?
Good. Anybody?
Find me some more free time. That's what I want.
We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slanum.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
Baka.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel where there's millions of videos, and most of that is just Red Dead Redemption 2. But
yeah, it's a lot of Red Dead.
Make sure you go through all of that and watch as much as you can, because when the fall comes around, all the videos start back up.
All of the
and
RPGs.
You want to make sure that you're caught up.
The long RPGs, so get ready. It's gonna be great.
Exactly.
We'll talk about it this time next year when they're like, you're only on Dragon Age 2? Yeah.
Jesus, there's like 800 episodes of Dragon Age. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313, where when the fall comes,
They'll also be busy.
Chicken will have more time and be streaming during the daytime. So make sure you hit the follow button on that as well. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I will be starting back up this Tuesday, actually. I will be going a little off my regular format. We'll be doing have a friend on board that we're going to be talking about the new Elgato stuff that just got announced and has come out. So a bunch of streaming stuff, as well as some video game, some of the stuff we covered today as well.
I thought
so we can
you
just
were
kind
gonna
of discuss
say,
and hang out.
I'm going off my normal thing. I'm playing Sea of Thieves. That's exactly what I was waiting to hear, because I was like, that's not what he said.
Nope.
I'm going off
not
my
at all.
normal thing. And back to this thing.
Just on that Tuesday, though.
And after that,
we'll
Sea
be
of
back
Thieves.
to Sea of Thieves, and then we'll be oh, too funny. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Baka.
See ya.
Please hang up and try again.